It's about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just kind of letting that, man, I don't know, kind of got like a crackly throat today. This is not the way I wanted to start a show, but I guess we've started in worse ways. At least we're on air live, right? Well, anyways, welcome to this damn show called the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, episode 363, I guess, weekly shows. Weeks like last week, we did drop an extra show. Hopefully you guys tuned in to catch that. We'll get into that in a bit. But today is one hell of a fun one. Like, seriously, if this show doesn't get you amped up, one of everyone's favorite guests, he's returning today. And I have to look back. It's been probably 2 years. And which is funny because he and I talk all the time. We just never get on the same page as far as getting him on for an interview. But Robby freaking Gordon returns to the show today. He's got a massive event this weekend. Stadium Super Trucks at Glen Helen. We will be talking about that event, dissecting it, and a whole lot more today. So a lot of talk with Robby Gordon about Stadium Super Trucks, and I'll just be talking about it as well. A lot of news coming out of the UTV industry. We'll jump into that. Best in the Desert this coming weekend. It's an off-road heavy show today. Also, hour number 2, got my good friend and part-time partner in crime, Tiffany Stone. She will be on the show. She'll be talking about Trail to Sema, some Jeeping, and some events coming up, and I don't know. You never know what the hell happens with T-Stone, but she'll give us some rules to live by, and it'll be a ton of fun. And then capping things off, we've got Racer Magazine's Kelly Crandall. She'll be on to dissect, I guess, this crazy off-season news in motorsports, and maybe talk a little bit about Alonso and Jimmy Johnson swapping seats. So all that and more to come today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right. Welcome back to the show here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And yes, it is, it is almost the holidays. November 28th, Black Friday kicked off, Cyber Monday, all that good stuff. Obviously, we're airing today online on a Wednesday, so if you're tuning in online, welcome. If you're in national syndication, yeah, we are at the same time on the weekends or the AFN. Thank you to our military tuning in overseas. Love to hear from any of you fans of the show. Hit me up at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. It's at JimBeaver15 everywhere. Contact form on the website, all that good stuff. But anyways, you got any questions for our guest, Mr. Gordon, or Tiffany Stone, Kelly Crandall, hit me up on Twitter. That's where I am checking my messages as we speak. Actually trying to get some tweets out and some Instagram posts, but trying to promote this damn thing while we're live, but we'll get that during one of these breaks. But anyways, yes, Thanksgiving this past weekend, I spent some time out in the desert. It's a big weekend. It's kind of, Halloween weekend's kind of the kickoff to UTV season, I guess. I don't know, Sand Sports Show is too, but kind of the kickoff to, the ride season. And I got to tell you, I didn't go to Glamis or anything. I went out in the desert here in Parker, took the UTVs and the trailer out there, camped out, bonfire, whole works. And I got to tell you, man, it is like a miniature city. And it used to be everybody always talked about Glamis, you know. I think Glamis gets so damn many people over the holiday weekends that a lot of people are going to places like Parker now and, some of these other places to get their ride in and things like that. And, if you're not a dune fan or if you're, you like trail riding, like Parker's definitely probably a better choice. But, man, it was like a miniature city out there. I took the trailer out Friday and, man, it was like top the hill there, off the reservation, like 5 miles out of town, and it was just like miniature cities after city after city. It's crazy, but some pretty cool riding in the wash. Beautiful weekend. Weather was perfect. Some good night riding. Fun times had by all, and probably too much to drink. But anyways, that being said, Black Friday, hopefully you guys survived that. Not a big fan of Black Friday myself, so I try and avoid it. But we did have some amazing partners with some rad stuff. Hopefully you guys got in on that big Dirtfish deal they had up there and got yourself some spots booked, to go in 2019 and shred some Subaru rally cars. That being said, man, season is kind of a weird one. These are our weird radio shows. I hate to say weird radio shows, right? Because we're always weird. I'm a little quirky, you know that by now. It's one of those. It's kind of. It's odd. Like the season's wrapped up. 2019 comes fast, man. It hits hard. You get right out of the box. You got the Parker 250, and then Daytona stuff's going on, and you got King of the Hammers, Best in the Desert. Short course kind of fires up later, but we do have Snowcross. That kicked off. I know we're going to be talking some more about that in the coming weeks as well. But Supercross A1 starts there right off the bat, first weekend of the year. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those weird weird weekends or, weird seasons where, November rolling into December, there's just not a lot to talk about. So we just kind of recap the year. We get to some of our fun personalities back. Obviously, Tiffany Stone, Kelly Crandall on today, along with Robby Gordon, who has that massive event. And next couple of weeks, it'll just be some fun personalities and talk and brainstorming and bench racing and stuff like that. So we try and keep it entertaining here through the month of December, and talk about, kind of some of the fun crap that's coming up in 2019. We definitely need to dive into some Supercross talk. We haven't even really talked about that at all, and talk about what's to come there, with A1 only being about a month away. That's crazy. But, speaking of that, Robby Gordon does have some motocross and Supercross guys lined up to race there at Glen Helen. I think he put together like a $25,000 purse or something like that. So good money there at Glen Helen. So maybe he's going to get some guys out of the woodwork to come and try and claim that money. But we do have Best in the Desert coming up this weekend as well for you off-road fans. Pahrump Nugget 250 presented by Polaris. That's coming up, and I don't know, it's a rad track. It's just a crap time of the year they have that race, and just doesn't draw many entries. Everybody's already looking at 2019, so if you're running for points, you don't even really you don't even consider that, man. It's like a ghost town up there for that race. Nobody likes to go up there and hang out, and it's not a real good spectator race either, but it's an amazing race for drivers. I love that course. So that's kind of the last big one. You got we can't forget Rage at the River, right? If you're an off-road fan, big event there in Laughlin, draws like 300-400 vehicles to go and shred there at Laughlin. So I don't know, we got some off-road stuff still to come. Big news coming out of Motorsports, though, this past week, and we'll probably get into it with Kelly Crandall here in hour number 2, but Jimmie Johnson and Fernando Alonso. I'm a big Alonso fan, massive Jimmie Johnson fan. Jimmie Johnson came from off-road. He's raced trophy trucks, taken championships, man. He both of his brothers, Jarrett and Jesse, have been guests on the show before. Never had Jimmy. We need to maybe make that an off-season goal, right? Get Jimmie Johnson on the show. That will be my off-season goal, right? In the next 2 months, we're going to get Jimmy on the show. I don't want to promise, but we're going to try and do it. I think that's a good goal there. But anyways, Jimmie Johnson, he went and did a ride swap with Alonso. It's not the first time this has happened. I think Montoya and Jeff Gordon did it when Montoya was there with Williams back in the day, the Hewlett-Packard white and blue Williams car, and Jeff Gordon had his DuPont Chevrolet. They did a ride swap, and, ultimately Montoya ended up running NASCAR. So he's one of the few guys who's done NASCAR, IndyCar, and Formula One. I will say Mario Andretti has been one of those as well. It's a rarity, man. It's a real rarity. So maybe we'll see. It sounds like it went well. I mean, I think Alonso was really interested in like Daytona 500. Obviously raced the NASCAR on a road course. That kind of sucks. Those things are more at home on oval. I love NASCAR road racing, but So I think Alonso definitely was interested. It's great to see him at Indy 500. It was also announced he's going to be doing a Rolex 24, so we're going to see him more stateside this next year, I think, than we have in a long time. But that being said, Jimmie Johnson, obviously, him going to Formula One isn't going to happen. There's too much politics. He's too old. Like, seriously, that is not going to happen unless Jimmy just said, "Oh, here's $25 million. I want to go run Formula One." It's not going to happen. But Jimmy did say he'd like to go IndyCar racing, which was massive news. And he did say he doesn't care about going on ovals in IndyCar, but he really, really is interested in doing some road racing in an IndyCar. So Jimmie Johnson at the Long Beach Grand Prix, that could be interesting. Now, it's not going to happen this next year, but as his contract winds down, his current contract, I think, you may see him open up some opportunities and do some more fun stuff. So, and who wouldn't like to see Jimmie Johnson back in off-road? Now, is he ever going to go to Baja again? I doubt it. With what happened the last time. But could we see him in some short course stuff? Could we see him in, say, the Mint 400? I think that is definitely a possibility. And the possibilities of Jimmie Johnson coming back to off-road, man, you want to talk about massive, massive implications. And we've seen it before, though. I mean, Robby Gordon, he came back to his roots. Parnelli Jones, he dabbled in it back and forth all the time, it's The Mears is Rick left, but his family still had a presence there. Casey Mears, he's come back. You got Casey Mears, he's running actually this weekend at Glen Helen in a Stadium Super Truck. So Brendan Gaughan, he does both. So I think we could see Jimmy Johnson come back, maybe some stuff like the Mint 400. God, could you imagine seeing Jimmy Johnson at Crandall again? Whoa, massive. So I don't know, but the cool thing about the whole ride swap is what's come out of it is Jimmy Johnson's a point in his career very much like Fernando Alonso, where they've proven everything they need to prove. Jimmy Johnson's going to go down as one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time, whether he gets another win or another championship or anything. So he's still a very capable driver. He can take championships and wins. So can Alonso. If you put Alonso in one of the Red Bull F1 cars, boom, he's a winner, right? It's not going to happen now, but it could. Well, it could. Yeah, it's not. But what I'm saying is these guys can win right now. It's not like they're retirement age, right? But they're still racing at a high level. They've got that name brand recognition globally. Why the hell not go and just do some fun stuff? I mean, I know I'm at a point in my career where I'm doing that. I'm racing the races I want to and doing the stuff that I want to. So why not? And I think we may see Alonso and Jimmy Johnson start to do that in the next year or two. Alonso doing it now. Jimmy Johnson, as his NASCAR contract winds down, he may start doing it. But I think that's exciting to see these guys out of their element, going and racing some other stuff. Not because they have to, but because they want to. And that, as a motorsports fan, has me excited. So we are going to take a short commercial break. We come back. We're going to talk some Stadium Super Trucks here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. About 15 minutes out from having Mr. Robby Gordon on the show. So if you're just tuning in, do not tune out. Robby Gordon coming on soon. Don't want to miss it. Mr. Gordon never disappoints, and become a really good friend of mine behind the scenes. And we talk a lot. He actually has a home here in Parker, and get to spend a lot of time with him. Talk about a rad guy, and it's one of those guys you just listen to because you can learn so much from a guy that is accomplished as much as he has in motorsports and done it his own way. And I think that's what's really rad about Robby Gordon's. He's always done it Robby's way, and good or bad was done on his terms, and you got to respect that. Before we talk some stadium super trucks, though, I got to tell you guys about a good friend of ours, and that is GoParts.com. And you know what? I am saving a ton of money on my auto parts, and believe me, I go through a ton of parts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jim, they're online. How's the customer service? Well, I had the same concerns until I started using them. And believe me when I tell you, the service is second to none. In fact, 9 out of 10 of their customers polled said they'd not only use GoParts again, they'd also recommend GoParts to their friends and family. Look, they've been around for more than a decade. So they know what they're doing. GoParts. This is why we wrench. That's go-parts.com and use the /Jim Beaver. That's go-parts.com/Jim Beaver, and you're going to get a nice little discount when you check out. So that's go-parts.com/Jim Beaver. Check them out. You'll be glad you did. And speaking of checking things out, you got to check out Stadium Super Trucks this weekend at Glen Helen. That is right. Stadium Super Trucks. It is Robby Gordon's Off-Road World Championships. Not only is it Stadium Super Trucks, they're bringing in Pro Light, Super Buggy. They got FMX. They've also got 450 4-strokes and 250 2-strokes and 250 4-strokes and 125 2-strokes in competition. They got a jump contest. They got so much stuff going on. It's there. They got UTV racing. It's crazy. If you're in SoCal, if you're in Arizona, in Nevada, make your way out to Glen Helen this weekend. Check it out, stadiumsupertrucks.com. You can get your tickets. There's camp spots, everything else. And I'm looking at this track map they've got. And Robby, we're going to ask him about this track. But it's crazy here. They're not running the short course track. So you'd think, all right, they're bringing off-road trucks, they're bringing UTVs. They're just going to run the short course track. Nope, not using the short course track. Robby said, no way. This is like motocross for off-road trucks and UTVs and stuff like that. So I'm checking this thing out here, and I got to tell you, it's bonkers. So they've got your traditional kind of zigzag turns and stuff like that. But they go up Mount St. Helens, or not Mount St. Helens, Mount Glen Helen, whatever the hell you want to call it. They go up to the top of that, turn around, come down. They've got a massive crossover jump. Now, it looks like only the Stadium Super Trucks and the dirt bikes are going to be doing the crossover jump. Pro Lights, UTVs, they take a left and avoid that. They got a big uphill tabletop, and then they've got an uphill double jump as well. Downhill tabletop, big berms. They're running Talladega turn, a couple of big double jumps. This is a massive track. And Robby had said, if we're going to go to Glen Helen, we're going to do it right. We're not going to run some pre-existing track. We're going to build our own. And I got to tell you, they are moving a ton of dirt to make this happen. And I'm just looking at this track and the layout. Layout is there at stadiumsupertrucks.com, but it is not going to disappoint at all. This is definitely worth it. And I know there's not a lot of the Stadium Super Truck events where you can actually camp out. They have camping here at this one at Glen Helen. So, if you haven't committed to something so far to do this weekend, I am telling you, you want to go out to Glen Helen. Check it out. I guess at some point they're going to have a big bonfire too, music, all kinds of stuff. Like I said, camping, take the rig, take the family, go out, have a good time. Looking at the list of drivers, Ari Lyondike Jr. is going to be there. I know he's run off and on this year. But I know Matty Brabham's going to be there. Robby it told me that Sheldon Creed is going to be back. So you've got Sheldon Creed, Casey Mears is jumping in. So, this is This is legit. I mean, some of these drivers that are coming in, to run this event, it's got me, in addition to all the regulars, right? You know what I mean? So, you've got a couple of marquee drivers that are coming in just for this event. So I don't know, man. Everything is stacking up to be one hell of a show there at Glen Helen. And if it's anything like Elsinore was last December there at Lake Elsinore, you definitely don't want to miss it, because Elsinore was an amazing event. They ran it twice. First one, both of them were amazing. The first one was just off the chain good, though. So you definitely don't want to miss it. And I got to tell you, if you haven't been to a Stadium Super Truck race yet, it is literally it's insane. I've been to quite a few of them now, and the last one I went to was Long Beach Grand Prix. Saw them run there at the Long Beach Grand Prix, and it's crazy how high and far they're jumping and the speeds. And, what's nutty about it is they're running it as quote-unquote a support series, for IndyCar. People stick around for these. Like, IndyCar race is over. They run these after the IndyCar race. People are there for the Stadium Super Truck race. I think that's what's nutty about it, is they were supposed to be a support series, but they've become the show. And you got to give credit to Robby for having the vision. I think everybody thought he was bat blank crazy at one point, but the dude has made this series work, and it's evolved and it's morphed. And just like this radio show, right? We started, 6-7 years ago, and we are drastically different than what we were when we started. But you got to do that in this business. You got to adapt, overcome. It's adapt or die, and Robby has made this thing work. And man, I'm excited about Glen Helen this weekend. I'm sure they're going to have some live stream going on as well. So definitely check it out. Obviously, Robby Gordon, we're about 7-8 minutes out from him calling into the show. So you definitely want to be locked and loaded for that this weekend. Stay tuned for that interview. But we're kind of running short in this segment. I did want to get to talking about one thing. We talk a lot of Polaris RZR on the show. They're the title sponsor of the show. I am a Polaris RZR fan. Even if I wasn't a brand ambassador for them, they are still the unit I would choose. But I'm a UTV fan, right? And everybody loves competition. So one of the big things, and it's been quiet in the UTV industry, Honda has this new thing coming out, the Talon. There's been teaser pics and stuff like that. Everybody want to know, what is this Talon going to be? Honda, they're late to the game, so they better bring their A game if they're getting in the sport side-by-side market, right? Well, it debuted yesterday. If you're tuning in national syndication, it was a couple days ago. Anyways, UTV Underground's got the full write-up on it, our good friends over there. Yeah, Honda, it was one of those. Honda's the big, they bring their A game to everything, right? I got to tell you, the Honda Talon, it disappoints. And I'm not just saying that as a Polaris RZR guy. Like, seriously, the looks don't do it for me. It looks wonky. It sits high. It's got small tires. It's like 104 horsepower, way down on the horsepower. The suspension looks okay. I don't know, man. It's 68 inches wide, I believe. It just, to me, it comes in the X version and the R version. I don't know. I feel like, I don't want to say Honda dropped the ball, because I'm sure it's a nice unit. It's got 6-speed sequential or paddle shifts, like an automatic. I don't know. It's very similar to the Yamaha with a paddle shift without the clutch. So I don't know, man. It's, the back, it actually is kind of it's very similar to the Yamaha as far as the drivetrain goes, I would say. And I haven't dissected this thing, but and I'm probably not even supposed to be talking about Hondas and Yamahas and stuff like that on the show, but we're doing it just because I think RZR's, top of the heap, right? Can-Am probably right in there with RZR. I mean, this is not me. This is just, I don't know. It's just facts. Yamaha struggles, but this Honda, I don't know if you're going to wait this late to enter the market. I think everybody was like, all right, they were holding their money, like, Honda, come in, do it, take our money. And what I saw wasn't something that said, take my money. It was something that said, oh, we're going to sell a few of these. There's going to be some people that are Honda fans that'll buy them. There's going to be some early adopters who just want to have what's new. But there was nothing about this unit that said, take my money. It wasn't like when Polaris dropped the Turbo S and said, boom, here it is. We're going to take your money. And, Can-Am's done that with the X3. Take your money. This, nah. it's like, oh, maybe we'll look at it next time we want a little trail rig. But like, there's nothing about it that says, hey, I need one of these for Glamis like next week. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I would love for you guys to chime in and let me know what you think on this new Honda Talon at JimBeaver15 on social media. Yes, I am talking about something other than a Polaris RZR today, but I was just not impressed. Like, this in the industry has been built up massively. Like, Honda's bringing the Talon. It's a game changer. I don't know what game they changed, but it wasn't the one I was expecting them to. So, yeah, that is that's just my thoughts. I could be totally wrong, and I would love for you guys to prove me wrong. So it is at JimBeaver15 on social media. Hit me up. Let me know. I mean, gosh, you look at between Polaris and Can-Am and Textron and what they've got going. Yamaha's a little bit behind the ball, but theirs is decent. Then Honda drops this, and I just, if you got to pick the top 5 sport UTVs, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at this going maybe ranks 4th or 5th. Like, why would you bring something to the market that you know is going to be 4th or 5th place? Like, you want to shoot for that top spot, right? I don't know. I feel like Honda dropped the ball on this one. So, yes, that being said, my vehicle of choice is still a Turbo S. So, we're going to take a short break. We come back. Robby Gordon is on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Anytime Robby Gordon calls in, you don't want to miss it. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports. Beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems, KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome one of my guests this week to the show, good friend of mine who's got a big event going on this weekend in Glen Helen. Robby Gordon, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Jim, how are you today?
I am doing well. First off, we're going to talk about Glen Helen. We got a lot to talk about. I don't know. I just look at your schedule. Last time we ran into each other, I think it was at Sand Sports Show, but you have been pinned this fall, buddy.
It's been good, obviously with the new Double X coming out and the launch of that, and then Baja and racing cars there, and trying to get ready for the Dakar and trying to pull that program off as well as SST. We definitely have our hands full, but I feel very fortunate that we definitely get the opportunities.
Yeah, well, and that being said, I know you found some time to go out and have a little fun in Glamis last weekend, and I saw you got Greg Biffle in the trophy truck with you too. How was Glamis, man?
Glamis was great. It was, I really haven't taken the truck to Glamis in probably 5 or 6 years, so it was pretty cool to take it back out to Glamis. It was after we put a gear in it at 525, that truck's in perfect shape. I mean, it was ready to go, so we gave it what we call prep soap, which is a bath, and we took her to Glamis on some paddles and just had a blast. It's so much fun out there. The people out there, the other dooners are just so cool and fun to be around.
Yeah. Well, and, that being said, I know, you've been doing that for quite a while. I mean, a lot of people, I think, they wonder, taking a trophy truck out there, but talking with the guys like you that have, man, there's a lot of value just in marketing being out there in front of that crowd, right? I mean, that's, 50 to 100,000 people there Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah, probably a bit more than that. I mean, they say there's 100,000 UTVs there that weekend. For that 7 days, because Thanksgiving starts either the weekend before or the weekend after. So in that 7-day period, they say 100,000 UTVs are out there. It's crazy, and they're everywhere, and they're all just having fun, enjoying life, and they're either riding a Polaris or a Can-Am, or we're trying to get them to switch over to our Textrons, which is good.
Yeah, well, I know you told me Sand Sports. You guys had a pretty good weekend there at Sand Sports, right? With selling some units.
Yeah, we pretty much sold every unit we brought to Sand Sports, which was really good, and we sold about another 20 since then. So there's been a bunch of accessorized speed SX side by sides, and they've been going good. So we had good reliability with the consumer base one. It seems like every time we put a number plate or a helmet on it, we have some kind of freak deal, and that's what happened in Baja. We lost the alternators on Hildebrand's car, and that was a big disappointment because that car was running there in the top 5.
Yeah. Well, and you were one of the first, trophy truck guys and, name guys to really jump into the UTV segment. And I see what you've done, and you jump behind the wheel of those. You bounce in and out of UTVs and SST trucks, your trophy truck. Now we're talking about Dakar. I mean, how have you seen this industry? I mean, you and I both know, and we're in it, and you and I've talked privately and stuff like that. But I look at all these trophy truck guys. Everybody's trying to get into it now. I mean, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of marketability, and I think it's definitely a gateway to the sport. But, I mean, you were one of the first guys in it. What do you think the big draw of the UTV community is for guys like you, you know what I mean, and your business?
Well, when I started the original Polaris RZR, was our build back in the 800 days. So, it was cool to be involved with them. Obviously got connected to Polaris through Mr. Menard, who was a board of director with them. And we did the 800 and the 900 for Polaris, and then the 1,000 I wasn't involved with, and we hooked up with Arctic about 3 years ago and designed this Double X, and it's been pretty much every subscription magazine has voted the Double X the UTV of 2018. So to come back in the industry again with our first vehicle is really cool.
Yeah. Well, and talking about Dakar, coming up, what's, you're trying to, get that, program you said finalized and things like that. What's, how is the approach different, this go around?
Well, I think, Dakar, it's a UTV program this year. Yeah. But, if you look at how fast the UTVs are and what just happened at Baja with a UTV beating all the Class 10 cars, all the Class 1 cars by one, and I think only 11 trophy trucks beat the winning UTV.
Yeah.
I think the power to weight, 4-wheel drive has an advantage. And, it'd be pretty cool if we can show up at Dakar and have a legit shot at winning with a UTV, which we think we can.
Yeah, well, and especially you start, you and I both know, getting into the dunes and things like that, one of those UTVs is just going to rip, right?
Well, I looked at Dakar this year in Peru. 70% of the rally is in dunes. I think we got a heck of a shot at it. I think the Double X is a really, really good vehicle. We run it in the pro production class, and I think that we'll have a shot at beating the cars with a UTV, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and and that being said, I gotta assume, and I don't know what Dakar budgets are. I know they're just ridiculous, but I gotta think, your footprint to run a competitive first class UTV program, the budget's got to be quite a bit less than your couple $1 million Gordini builds and things like that, right?
Yeah, because a lot of the parts that we're going to use on the build is what we're building, as part of our speed side by side accessories. The A arms, the spindles, the trailing arms, the axles, the CVs. A lot of those components are exactly what we're running on our speed kits. So, we've been able to gather, thousands and thousands of miles over the last 6 months of customer-based vehicles, which has allowed us to make better components and make components that are durable enough to do the Dakar.
Yeah. So that being said, talking side-by-sides, I know there's a big event this weekend happening in Glen Helen with Stadium Super Trucks. Side-by-sides will be taking part. Man, you're bringing motocross in, Stadium Super Trucks. I mean, tell us about this weekend, because I know you and I, we've been talking. I mean, I've known about this event before it was public, but man, this is a massive, massive deal that you guys have going at Glen Helen. And I know you told me, hey, we're not just running the short course track, man. We're bringing our A game. This is going to be motocross style for UTVs and for Stadium Super Trucks.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. The track is about 75% done. We've been working out the last 2 days, and we made big gains today. There was 8 tractors out moving dirt all day long today, and we've got pretty much the basis of the track done. We are going to go up Mount St. Helens. We are going to run Talladega Corner. We are going to do land rush starts, and then throw in a $20,000 prize money to motocross in. We've been able to get some pretty good moto riders that are going to come take our money. And, I think putting the trucks up there with the motocross bikes and then mixing in some UTV, it's going to be a fun weekend here at Glen Helen. It'll remind people a lot of the old Riverside Raceway and Mickey Thompson days.
Yeah, well, and that being said, I know Stadium Super Trucks. The series. You've been one of those guys, whether it been your racing programs or media marketing. I mean, however you approach things. I mean, everything always morphs, and every couple of years you've got to switch things up. I know Stadium Super Trucks is a little bit different now than when it started, but man, I mean, you guys are running in Australia, back in Australia. Congratulations on that. But with IndyCar, I mean, the series, you guys have been all over the place, and you're mixing asphalt and pavement. And, you guys had some amazing events there at Elsinore, now Glen Helen. I mean, that's one thing I love about the series. It's diverse, and you guys are always, changing it up.
Well, I think we need to mix it up. I think it's, to make a Stadium Super Truck driver was back like in the old days of Mickey Thompson, when Jimmy Johnson, myself, Casey Mears, Ivan Stewart, we all came out of the Mickey Thompson series. And I think the driving skill that the Mickey Thompson series taught you, and then mix it with what we call Mickey Thompson on steroids, which is Stadium Super Trucks, and you mix in at Long Beach Grand Prix, you go to Adelaide where we get 300,000 people. We're racing in front of over 1 million people each year, just physically, not counting the television and the social media. We all know what that is today. But in front of over 1 million spectators, we hit some of the biggest races in America. We just signed a deal with NASCAR for next year. We're going to do Dallas Cup weekend, so we'll run Saturday night and Sunday night, Dallas Cup weekend with NASCAR. And we've got a bunch of really, really good races. So it's going to be a fun year, and I'm excited about where 2019 is headed for Stadium Super Trucks. We've got some Mexico City stuff happening early January, and it's going to be fun. We continue to blow it up and continue to get great partners to work with us.
Yeah, well, and one thing I've noticed about Stadium Super Trucks is, a lot of series when you're running with IndyCar or running, like you talked about with NASCAR, and I don't know what the schedule is going to look like for those, but, a lot of them, you guys would just be things that, that run before, but a lot of these series are getting smart. They're running you guys after because people actually stay to watch the Stadium Super Trucks. A lot of times they have to put those other series, and I don't even want to call you guys a support series, but they run them before, but you guys, it's like, no, we know we can get people to stick around afterwards, sell more beer and sell more food if we run Stadium Super Trucks after the big show.
Well, and if you look at what happened last year at Long Beach, we went after IndyCar, and we kept 100,000 people around there until 5 o'clock at night. So I'm pretty proud at where we've been able to grow Stadium Super Truck. I think the show, the entertainment value is obviously exciting. The competition with the reverse aero program that we have with the trucks. The first place car is actually at a disadvantage. And if you look at every form of motorsport, even off-road, the first cars, he's clear sailing. We don't get that aero push, or we don't get the lack of downforce. We actually get a bigger slipstream, and we get less lift, which gives us more grip in the middle of the corner. So the second, third, and fourth place positions are probably the positions that make the most grip with a Stadium Super Truck.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing I've liked about the series. I mean, you guys, sometimes you invert it, and the fastest guys are starting in the back, and it's, you're seeing guys, there's so much good racing, you start in the back, and all these trucks are so even that drivers are coming through traffic, and there's so much passing whether you start in the front or the back. It's made for such tight, really good racing, and I think, man, just your social media, I look at it, and it's, every time you guys throw up a video, it just goes viral. It's bananas.
No, it's been really good. It's a lot of fun. It's a great series, and it's a dream come true. Everybody kind of looked at me like I had three eyes when I said, "All right, we're going to take Stadium Super Truck, and we're going to run stadiums. We're going to run pavement circuits. We're going to run outdoor motocross." And it's grown into a worldwide series. We've raced over in the Olympic Stadium in China. We've done LA Coliseum. We do Adelaide Grand Prix. We do Gold Coast. Long Beach. Now going to Dallas, Texas, and other places. We get to go to the big events, and I think that's the most important thing for young racers to build their name in the sport. They have to race in front of people so that people know who they are, and that's one thing the Stadium Super Truck does.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but a mix of, young, talented guys, like you'd mentioned Hildebrand, and I know Sheldon Creed, who's just shredding it right now. And Arca just won the championship. Obviously, he's been involved in SST. You got veterans like Biffle, who, has jumped in there. He got a podium. And then you got guys like Matt Brabham, who I think he's just a world-class talent, and he's found a home there in, in Stadium Super Truck.
Well, it's pretty cool. Sheldon is coming back this weekend. So to have a two-time Stadium Super Truck champion and last year's ARCA champion out this weekend here at Glen Helen it's cool. It's an honor to have him back. He's going to drive one of the UFD trucks. So we're excited to have him back. And, we do have Casey Mears is going to run with us this weekend, and Ari Lyondike and Matt Brabham. Like I said, we've got a fierce field of SST competitors, which will be a lot of fun this weekend here at Glen Helen.
Yeah. So before we kind of wrap things up, we'll definitely talk about Glen Helen, get the ticket info and stuff like that here in a second. But I got to mention Trophy Truck before we let you go. Obviously, you're coming off the 1,000. I know your Trophy Truck program, that's always, where your heart is in the desert. But looking at next year, I know, one of your big sponsors, Toyo Tires, they've got that invitation event there at King of the Hammers. What do you think about that event, and what's the tentative schedule look like for your Trophy Truck program next year, Robby?
Well, obviously, the Dakar is where we start the season. And then from Dakar, we have a program put together with Race of Champions. So we'll go straight from Dakar to Mexico City with Stadium Super Trucks there, which that's a new ad, and we're very excited about that. And then straight back to the Parker, and we got my son will be running the Parker 250 we're at the Dakar. And then we'll go to King of the Hammers, Mint 400, Baja 500, Baja 1000, and 10 gnarly Stadium Super Truck races.
Man, that's one hell of a schedule. But talking about Stadium Super Trucks, we're running up against a time break here. But before we let you go, what are the details on this weekend? Anybody in SoCal or Arizona or Nevada that wants to come out, when can they expect racing on track, and what do they need to do to get out there?
Well, they can go to stadiumsupertrucks.com, get the schedule there. Obviously, you can purchase tickets there as well. There is camping all weekend long, so it'll be different than a lot of our races. A lot of our races, there is no camping. Here, you can actually come out with your family, camp on the weekend. We've got all kinds of different racing going on, from kids UTV to pro motocross to pro UTV. Stadium Super Trucks, Jump Champs are going to have a Saturday Night Thunder, and then obviously we've got a DJ and a bonfire on Saturday night. So it should be a great weekend for entertainment, family fun, and racing.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Robby. Good luck on Glen Helen this weekend, and we'll definitely chat soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much. Talk to you later.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just wrapping up hour number 1 here. If you just tuning in and you missed it, make sure and skip back into the archives about 15 minutes after we get done here. You don't want to miss that interview with Robby Gordon. Never disappoints. Always fun talking about his 2019 this weekend at Glen Helen and Dakar and UTV industry. I don't know if you can cram much more into a 15-minute interview, but we definitely max that one out. All killer, no filler on that one. Anyways, thank you guys once again for tuning in. If you are, just tuning in, capping off hour number 1, rolling into hour number 2. Hour number 2, we got Tiffany Stone, Kelly Crandall on the line. Also want to make mention that I was recently a guest on Natalie Ava Marie's show, the Natalie Ava Marie Show, coincidentally, over on Podcast One. Skip over to iTunes, check it out. Did an interview. I was on for about 45 minutes talking off-road with her and her husband, Jonathan Coyle. You know her from WWE and Total Divas. But anyways, amazing couple of people. We're going to bring them out in the desert, get them off-roading sometime soon. They're at Raptor Owners. But anyways, fun time. And you probably... you guys have probably heard me talk for years, but if you haven't, it was actually an interesting interview, man. They asked me some questions I've never had to answer before, and definitely some different side of me you probably have never got before. So check it out, Natalie Ava Marie Show on Podcast One. It's also on iTunes or the Podcast One website. It just dropped, I think, last Thursday. So check that out, and we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, it is hour number 2 here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Yeah, that's a nice deep breath there. Hour number 2, we got Tiffany Stone coming up. Also, Kelly Crandall from Racer Magazine. They're going to be on the line talking off-road and motorsports and Alonso and Jimmy Johnson and Trail to Sema. And I don't know, we got packed hour number 2 coming at you, that's for sure. But if you like all things radness, you want to check out my interviews dropping this week. My good friend Spike Ferriston, he was a writer for Seinfeld. Also did some stuff with The Simpsons, Saturday Night Live. Anyways, he's a big car guy, and he has a show on Podcast One called Spike's Car Radio. It's right there at the top of the iTunes charts. I was a recent guest there, and that interview is going to drop this Thursday. I talk Baja 1000 UTVs, off-road, I don't know, cars, a bunch of stuff. So some vintage Fords, I don't know. Fun interview. Anyway, Spike's Car Radio, you definitely want to check that out this Thursday when it drops there on Podcast One and iTunes. Make sure and check out that show. And speaking of all these shows, if you're not already, actually do need you guys to do me a favor. Please go over to iTunes where it says Down and Dirty Radio Show on iTunes. You can do a search. Hit the subscribe button. Please do that. Definitely helps me out. Helps us on those iTunes charts. And if you really want to be amazing to me, you'll hit the rating and review button. You'll leave a rating 1 through 5 stars. You don't have to leave a review, just leave a rating. But if you do leave a review, if you leave your Twitter, Instagram @username in the body of the review, I'll see it and I will follow you back on social media. My promise to you. It's the easiest way to get a follow out of me is leave a review on iTunes. Also got my other show, Project Action, as well. Speaking of other shows, Matt Martelli and I interviewed RJ Anderson and Mitch Guthrie, roundtable discussion out at Camp Razor a few weeks ago. And when we were out there, we filmed it as well. So that audio version dropped on my other show, Project Action. Definitely subscribe to that show as well. But the video version, it's up on our website. It's up on YouTube. And it is also up on my Facebook page. I think we're about 10,000 views now to the video version. It's just basically the 4 of us sitting at a table for 40 minutes talking about off-road culture, the state of the industry, the UTV industry, you know, making the move like RJ did from UTVs to, Pro 2 or Pro Light, Pro 2, Pro 4. Mitch Guthrie, his future, and how, he's trying to come out of the desert ranks and move into like 6100. So great roundtable discussion on all things off-road, worth the view or the listen if you like listening better in the car. But YouTube and my Facebook page or the website, it's up there. So make sure and check it out and let us know. Give us some feedback. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. We come back. It is going to be Tiffany Stone, T-Stone, right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with a Down and Dirty radio show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here with, I don't know, I guess, do we call you my partner in crime here? Part-time partner in crime? Like, I don't know, we're starting to make this thing a regular deal here, Tiff.
No, I think so. I think soon we'll need an acronym for us. So I like the part-time partner in crime. That kind of rhymes.
Yeah, part-time partner in crime. Definitely. It's kind of, I don't know, it works. It was funny because I actually had somebody ask me the other day. They're like, how the hell did you and, like, I don't know, it's in this industry, you know what I mean? And it's always, everybody's got a story. And I'm like, I don't know, like, we've only known each other, like a year now? A little over a year? Because I think, Katie Osborne introduced us out at Crandall a year ago or something like that. And I don't know, it's just funny how this industry works, where everybody's connected to somebody's connected to somebody. What was there, that old game, Five Connections? What was it, Kevin Bacon or something, where you can always tie some actor into him? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it's seven something, 7 lines of separation or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It is true because, so I know Katie Osborne from the Torque days. Katie and you guys, you know her as Katie from before, and then she's like, hey, meet Jim, and then me and you met up, and then you had me on your show once, and then it's kind of been the history from there, and then we did the Mint 400, now we just finished Sema, so...
Yeah, it was funny because I think there was one point, the Midwest Short Course, we had a group of people sitting at the table, and I think it was you, me, Drew, Amanda. Now I name dropped her on the show, and she listens every week, so I'm going to get some kind of a text message or something like that. But I started laughing because we're sitting around this table, we're all having a good time eating dinner. Some of us were drinking, and it was I started looking, and I'm like, these people have become like my Midwest family, and I've literally only known some of them for a month or two. It was just kind of bizarre. That's what's funny about our sport, though, right?
It is. And then, like, you know, when you get all the Vision Wheel people together, so
God.
Vision Wheel has me, you, Brent, Keegan. And then when you get, you know, like you were talking about Drew and Todd and Red out there, like we were all out there for Bark River, and then you throw Amanda in there who's doing all the photography. I mean, it works out great.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just a ton of fun. I love traveling, and you know, it's like I've got my family. You know, you got your home life, and then you've got your travel family. You know, and it's just I don't know. I guess people wouldn't understand that unless they're on the road like we are. You know, and it's like it's a truth though. You travel these people, and you spend so much time with them, they just become your family.
No, 100%. I mean, and you experience different things with them. So, you know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's just like we were talking the Trail to Sema. I, you know, rolled into Grand Junction, Colorado, never really wheeling, don't know anybody that was with me on Trail to Sema. And then a week later and going into Sema, you know, we're all joking. We're going to Circus, playing the carnival games, saying this is, you know, Trail to Sema, group therapy. You know, like it's something because once you go through these experiences with people, you have a certain kind of connection because they went through that same exact experience with you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and talking about Trail to Sema, we got to talk about that. That was a nice segue there, by the way. Part-time partner in crime. You did a hell of a job getting me out of whatever rabbit hole we were down. You just like literally grabbed me by the head and ripped me out of the hole and said, "No, we're going to go over here, Jimmy." Which nice job, by the way. But speaking of Trail to Sema, like I know you and I had talked. Like you were a little bit. You had this brand new badass Jeep. I mean, this is a nice freaking Jeep. And here you are, like, you know, you've done a little bit of, you know, wheeling and stuff, but nothing on that level. You had to have been kind of nervous taking this brand new Jeep, and then all of a sudden, like, you're doing some legit off-roading in this thing. There had to have been some nerves heading into this deal.
Oh, my goodness. You do not understand. Like, you're right. I got a new 18JL, a brand new Rubicon, fully set up, everything, Rancho, Dynamax, Vision Wheel. You know, they totally hooked everything up. The guys at Unlimited Off-Road in Fence, Michigan helped me put everything. Jim, you're probably going to be surprised about this, but I had a hand in every single thing that came with that Jeep. When I took off those shocks and put on a different, you know, set of shocks and changed the suspension a little bit, I helped them do that. When we took off the exhaust, I helped do that. When we were putting on the decals, when we were designing, like, so it was crazy. But the craziest part, like you said, is I've never been wheeling, and I'm afraid of heights. So if you've never really been wheeling and you're afraid of heights, you probably should not drive up Moab rims in Utah. Like, there's something you probably shouldn't do, but I did on day 3, and every time I tell people this story, especially, you know, guys that have been out to Moab and they know everything, I said, I've never been wheeling. Day 1, I did 21 Road in Grand Junction. Day 2, I did Pritchett Canyon, which is the hardest trail in Moab. Never been to Moab before, and we did that on it's a 9 out of 10. Wow. So that Jeep made it up there. I do have to thank, though, the guys from Bleepin' Jeep, Matt and Nate from Bleepin' Jeep. If you haven't checked out their YouTube, definitely check that out. But they kind of helped me out. They were like, Tiffany, we know you're new at this. We'll help you out. They taught me a little bit about what, you know, crawling is all about and the finesse about it and everything as well. And then in return, you're going to laugh about this, Jim, but I taught them social media, how to use Instagram stories.
Wow, so it was a mutually beneficial partnership there.
Yeah, no, it was so funny because, you know, I'm pretty good at social media, but, you know, not really wheeling before. So everybody's like, Tiffany, you teach me social media, I'll teach you how to crawl down rocks. I was like, deal.
Nice. Well, I got to ask, now that you've done all this wheeling in Moab and all that, right? You getting the itch, and I know you're not going to want to race it, but you getting the itch to do a little wheeling there at Johnson Valley at KOH, like on the practice days, like get into those really big rocks and just do some crawling there?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. This weekend I'm heading down to Cumming, Georgia for the Unlimited Off-Road Show, and Friday I work together with HP Tuners and Jeep Journeys. And, you know, Alyssa from Jeep Journey, she's like, Tiffany, do you want to go wheeling? We're going to go wheeling on Friday. I was like, of course I do. I mean, I was planning on giving back my Jeep, you know, working on another project, but you know better than anybody and any driver out there, anybody who's raced, once you kind of get that adrenaline rush, once you kind of get those feels, everything else is just crazy, and you just kind of want to keep doing everything.
Yeah. Well, I knew you started. You. The problem with project builds is, and you failed at this. You're not allowed to fall in love with the build. You fell in love with the build, and I knew at Crandall, I'm looking, and I'm like, there's no way you're parting with this Jeep. Like, you were completely, totally in love with your Jeep, and I'm like, there is no possible way this thing is going down the road after SEMA. There's no way Tiff's going to let it go, and I was right.
No, and that's what everybody was saying. They're like, Tiffany, you did the wrong thing. You're supposed to build it and get rid of it. And I was like, I know, but if I want to go to things like Jeep Jamboree and Easter Jeep Safari and just things like that, I think the biggest thing I need is a Jeep. So I kind of needed that. And with things going on, it's like I've already kind of built this up. You know, I have the love connection with my Jeep just because it put me through so many great things. But you're right, I couldn't get rid of it. And I even did some things since you saw it in SEMA.
Yeah, well, I think my favorite part of it, to be honest with you, and you know me too much, the rad electric ice chest you've got in the back. That thing is like,
oh yeah,
that's my favorite part, just because you can keep your beer cold and you don't have to worry about ice.
No, that's awesome. It's a fridge freezer combination from Black Forest Gear. Love it. It helped us so much on the trails because, you know, I'm not wanting to eat just warm or not warm food, but like snacks like chips and beef jerky, even though I do love that. So one time we went out and got fresh fruit and we got veggies and dip, and we put it in the freezer, pulled it out while we were at when we were in Sand Hollow in St. George and had fresh dips, and everybody's like, this is amazing. So it's awesome because you could have that. And then one guy, his name's Kurt, we had a Suburban, Jim. We had a old school Suburban. When you watch these episodes, make it through, his spotter, his name is Kurt. He's like, one, I thought you had been wheeling forever, Tiffany. And two, you had an oven in your, a trail oven the whole time, and you didn't even tell us. We could have been making burritos. So it is pretty cool, having the trail oven and the fridge.
Yeah, she had it made there, but So you said, you got done wheeling there. SEMA's wrapped up. I know you we were talking before we got on air, about kind of the off season, what's heading into next year. But I'm looking at this, like you've kind of got the gamut covered now. You're doing short course stuff with Midwest Short Course League. You're doing some UTV stuff and some desert stuff, Mid 400 and UTV World Championship. Now you got the Jeep side. Like you're becoming like full on, like branded, I am T Stone, I am the off-road girl.
That's exactly where it was. I knew I wanted to drive, and I felt like I kind of wanted to race, but maybe that's the next step. I know, remember Sam and I were talking about that at SEMA. We might have this thing going on, but it's something that I wanted to do, and I feel like I kind of found it because when you're rock crawling and when you're trying to, go into gatekeepers and stuff like that, it's a real finesse. It's not too much throttle. It's not too much brake, and you kind of just need to let the Jeep kind of go where it needs to, and learning all the awesome capabilities of that Rubicon, just how I could, push the throttle a little and watch it crawl up these rocks were just insane. I highly, shout out to everybody that does this before and everything, because you guys are badass, and I want to be just like you.
And we'll be back with more with Tiffany Stone after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, along with Tiffany Stone. So, T-Stone, I got a question for you. One thing I'm impressed with you about, and a lot of women in this industry fail to do it. I mean, like, you were a model. You've been in Maxim. I mean, you know, obviously you were still in the running this year for one of the Maxim things. I know we were sharing some stuff, but you've done like the full transition, like, and I think a lot of people fail to do that in their career. You know what I mean? Like they leave modeling and they just kind of, it's like, what do I do next? Like they kind of lose it. But like, you've been really successful into getting into podium stuff and pit reporting, and now obviously the off-road stuff, and you're still doing appearances for brands and things like that, but you've transitioned from, being, you're being more like a brand ambassador rather than just, hey, I'm a booth model.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I look at myself as an influencer, going off of those back in, when I made the whole T-Stone approved. It's like everything that was on my Jeep was T-Stone approved, and we were just talking about this off air. I even made decals that I'm handing out to the Unlimited Off-Road and different things, and it has T-Stone approved on there. And, I really love what I'm doing, and I love everything. And, most people wouldn't think of this or know this, but I used to be a tomboy when I was growing up. Like, I would drive four-wheelers. My grandparents, and we had a farm, and I had pheasants and chickens and rabbits, and I would go tadpole fishing. Like, those are the things that I like to do. It's just I got into modeling. I was good at it, but I knew that wasn't going to be my end goal. Yeah. And my end goal is, no matter what I want to do, I want to be a philanthropist in the end. I want to be able to do things so I could have a platform, so I could be able to help people, so I could be able to make those certain, causes or situations or things that happen day to day come to light that some people wouldn't be able to see them because they don't have the platform to do it.
Yeah, completely agree. Got to say, talking about T-Stone approved, you and I have joked about T-Stone, rule, always carry a knife. The hell was the deal with all those machetes or like butcher knives on the wall that you posted up a couple days ago? That was like crazy.
I was in Scottsdale visiting family for Thanksgiving. My husband's family lives out there. So we were out there, and we wanted to go to Stake 44. And so it was just the butcher thing at Stake 44. I know I should have just said, welcome home. That should have just been my caption for it, especially because we always joke about all that.
Right. Oh, man. So before we let you go, we've got to mention, you and I were talking, and Catherine Kincaid hit you up, and she was cracking up at Keegan's interview you did at Sema with me. Those of you listening in, if you haven't listened to that episode that Tiff and I did at Sema, it's on the network. Go and listen. It is probably the most fun I've ever done doing a radio show or a podcast. You and I, Rob McCackern, Keegan Kincaid, and then Sam Rady from Car Throttle. It started with Rob, and it was a little serious. I don't want to say serious, but Rob, we were talking legit racing stuff. But when it transitioned into Keegan, stuff just hit the fan, Tiff, and then it continued on through Sam. I don't know what to say other than it was the most bonkers interviews I think we've both ever done.
Well, let's say when we started it with the Keegan one, it all started because we put Keegan and Sema together. So if you put Sema plus Keegan, you get a certain funny word, and that's kind of where it all started from there. And then it was just downhill because we couldn't talk about anything else. And then, you were saying once you have a relationship, I'm pretty close with Catherine Kincaid, when we're at the track and everything, and I've seen her and Keegan party at group therapy, and when I know Keegan rocks sleeveless Sundays, It's kind of hard not to bring those things up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then, Sam Rady, she's one of my favorite people. She's probably going to listen to this at some point, too, with Car Throttle. But she's just like you. I mean, she's a female who's a strong female influencer in the automotive industry. And, there's just always fun. I had her out at Vegas to Reno when I raced with Travis Pastrana before, and she had the guys from Britain from Car Throttle, the UK guys. They were over. And you want to take a couple of guys that have never been to an off-road race from the UK, you drop them in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and then you've got Sam there, and she's just funny, and she can hold her own, whether it be with comedy or with drinking. And, plus you add in Travis Pastrana and a bunch of other people, and we just had a freaking blast. But having her at SEMA, too, I know you guys hit it off, and you guys started talking about all kinds of stuff, but she's just a rad personality also.
No, she's super, super cool. And, we've been talking about, even people like Katie Osborne or Kimberly Booth Higgs, who used to produce Torque for us, and then she produced all the stuff for NHRA. I mean, it's cool when you find these strong-willed females in the automotive industry, or actually in motorsports, too, because it's you get what I'm trying to do. You understand why I love this sport so much. You understand how a vehicle could make me feel a certain type of way. So it's always fun to have them around, too, because they really know what it's like.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I think, and this is just a testament to, all the ladies you'd mentioned, Katie, Sam, yourself. There's so many countless, women in this industry, but I feel like there's a lot of girls, my daughter included, she's 10, and, they're coming up and they love cars, they love razors, they love off-road, but they may feel like they're the odd one out. But I think having these strong female presences like you, it's allows them, hey, I can do this. It's okay. It's all right to be a tomboy. It's all right to be a girl who likes cars, who likes off-roading. And that doesn't mean we can't be a girl at the same time, but it's okay. And I think, you know what I mean? I think that's what's cool about having personalities like you and them in this industry.
Oh, and I take that as a huge compliment. I just got an Instagram message earlier. One of the girls, she watches Short Course, and it pretty much just says, hey, you're probably not going to respond this, but you're my idol. I love you so much. I love watching you at all the races. You do such a great job. And it's times like that, and you probably get it too. We all go through things like personalities, influencers, athletes, drivers. We all get down on ourselves sometimes because we're like, are we doing enough? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Yeah. Are we being a good role model? Are we being what these people, because half of those people like Travis Pastrana, and then you look at, Tanner Faust and BJ Baldwin, Rob McCackern, none of them did it to be an idol. None of them did it to be looked up to. They all did it because they love the sport. It's just that's what happens when you're very good at what you do. People aspire to be like you. And so it's really cool to see that, because it's sometimes, probably this too, you get those messages when you need it the most.
Yep, I completely agree with you, and it's like you said, I think people, we've talked about this before, and I've talked about it with numerous people, but there's that social media life, you know what I mean? And people, I think everybody see what we do on social media and think, all these people are living the dream. Well, we are living the dream, but it's not to say, life is perfect, and I've always said, don't buy into people's social media life, because there's a lot of people I know that have this amazing Dan Bilzerian social media life, and they're struggling behind the scenes.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree with you on that. It's just, we do all these great things. We go to these events. We go to all these races. We go, to special things that are invite only. But what people don't understand is I miss birthdays. I miss Christmas. I miss holidays. I miss the little things, you miss anniversaries. It's a give and take. If you want to be able to do this, you also have to realize you give up a lot of things. You give up your weekends. You give up making plans. You give up vacations, because I could say yes to something right now, but what if that a huge event happens in mid-July and I have to be there?
Yeah.
So it's a hard balance. And I'm getting a little choked up about it, but it's a hard balance, and you really have to find what makes you happy and kind of try to keep both.
Yeah, and it's definitely a give and take struggle every single day trying to make that happen. I completely agree, too.
No, it is. I mean, there's some days that I want to be like, man, I want to give it all up, but I've worked so hard to be where I am, and I'm so passionate about what I do. So you go through that too. You're probably the same when you're sitting there looking at your razor. You're like, all right, I just want to throw my hands up and throw in the towel. But you're like, man, when I'm out there and I'm racing, it's everything.
Yeah, well, and that's the truth. And I didn't even know, this is one of those rabbit holes we'll go down. But sometimes I look at it and be like, it would be so nice to have a 9-to-5, literally like a no-nonsense job. Like, let me go to work at Target, just working, just seriously working the checkout counter, because life would be so damn much easier if that was all I had to do. And no offense to anybody that works at Target, but I'm just
I love Target.
Yeah, no, I love Target too. But sometimes I'm like, man, wouldn't that be easy if you didn't have to worry about all this and I could just show up to work at 9 and know at 5 o'clock I could leave and leave it all there and then just get a check every week.
Well, and that's exactly what it is. But that's not you and I. That's not how we are. We want to be like that, but we know that's not us.
No, I'd be miserable.
I would too. I did the office job for a little bit, and that was a normal office job. And then I was like, man, I don't know if I like this, but I could do 12 to 15 hours at a racetrack and eat dirt all day long. I could totally do that. So that's where you have to come up to a little bit.
Yeah, and we'll leave it at that, but I will say, because we're running up against a break, Jason Ellis, I've interviewed him, and him and I have talked before quite a bit. He calls us people who have, and himself included, we have no jobs, where we have a job, but most people wouldn't consider it work, and neither do we, because we enjoy what we're doing so much.
No, that is true. Before we cut off, everybody says, Tiffany, what do you do? And I say, what do I not do? Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. I do everything.
Which day? That's what I always say. Which day? Which
yes,
day?
Which day am I doing something? Like today, I'm about to go to the TV studios and do an in TV studio, interview. So it's just funny.
Yeah. So you're recording a radio interview and you're going to TV studio to do an interview. That's what you're doing today. Tomorrow, something totally different.
Tomorrow, I'm sleeping in and not wearing makeup. That's what I'm doing.
Ah, win right there. T-Stone for the win. You enjoy your time at the studio and enjoy your sleeping in tomorrow, T-Stone. Always fun catching up with you, and thanks for calling in. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandall, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by Racer Magazine and Racing Writer Podcast's own Kelly Crandall. Now, we got a lot to talk about today. We're not even going to talk about the NASCAR finale. You've covered that in your podcast. You and Matt, kind of dissected everything. But I want to talk about stuff that's happened since then. Actually, two major things that I have seen that have happened since then. One, NASCAR came out. I was reading an article, probably in the Nice Racer newsletter that I subscribe to. But it was about NASCAR basically saying, hey, 2020, things are wide open. We are interested in hearing all ideas. We can shorten the schedule. We can shorten races. Points can be changed. Playoffs can be changed. Segments can go away. We're interested in entertaining any and all ideas. I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, I love the fact that at least we have, people within NASCAR, meaning like, the president of NASCAR and others, like people who matter. I love the fact that, they're at least acknowledging that, there's some things that could be looked at, that can be discussed. I'm still cautiously optimistic when it comes to things like schedules, just because after a while it kind of seems like you're set in your ways. And there's going to be a lot that has to take place to change schedules. I mean, SMI has to be on board. ISC has to be on board. Nobody wants to lose money, right? Nobody wants to lose dates. Who loses races? Who gets races? Do you go to new racetracks? There's so much in play. But again, I give NASCAR credit. I give Steve Phelps credit. Since he became NASCAR president, in multiple sit-downs, I've heard him say the exact same thing of, hey, we're listening, we're looking, there's a lot on the table, there's a lot to be discussed. So at least it's a conversation that's not being swept under the rug. At least it's not something where they're like, no, we just want to go into next year, we're focused on next year, we have our schedule, we like our schedule. And for a while, that was the narrative. So I like the fact that they're listening because, listen, the schedule has been a big topic of conversation I would say maybe the last 2 years or so, certainly the last year and a half, because it's become so stagnant and it's become so repetitive. You even have drivers now talking about different places they want to go and different racetracks they want to try. I mean, a lot of it, we're doing the same stuff over and over. You know, it's mile and a half, a mile and a half, a mile and a half. So I like the fact that, you know, whether it's Steve Phelps or Steve O'Donnell, you know, whoever it may be, they're listening and they're saying, okay, you know, we'll bring it to the table. No guarantees that things will change, but there's conversations going on. So that's the biggest thing that for me is the schedule. You know, that's the topic right there that makes me pay attention the most, because I feel like that's one of the big things that, whether it's the media, the fans, or the drivers, that's what we're all kind of looking at. That's what we're all kind of hoping is once this 5-year agreement is up at the end of next year, the end of 2019, can we see some change for 2020. So, yeah, the schedule's a big one to me.
Yeah, well, and I completely agree. And I think, you know, regardless of the length of the race, the segment, stuff like that, I think it's, you know, the tracks are the draw, right? And I think that, well, I was just looking at something. I think the Roval Charlotte was the only race that actually saw a TV viewership increase, you know, this year in the playoffs, right? And it was because it was something new. And, you know, and I've been very vocal about it. Like, hey, if we wanted to put another road course in, the Roval wouldn't have been what I would have put in, because we've got so many places like, you know, Mid-Ohio, Road Atlanta, Road America. I mean, we've got some amazing facilities in this country for road racing. Why are we running, you know, the Roval? But fans want road racing, and that was the best they could do given the circumstances. And I think, you know, people tuned in for it. So I think people are wanting that change, whether it be road courses or some other type of track. I just, you know what I mean? I like you said, the mile and a half. So I think people are just bored of them.
So the Roval, I mean, you have to take the good with the bad of the Roval. I mean, the good was it was something new, right? It was a quote-unquote road course. But the downside is, I mean, you couldn't go to an actual road course because you can't change the schedule. So you had to do it at an already existing track, which was Charlotte. So, yes, it was something new. People tuned in. People wanted to see what was going to happen. Thankfully, it turned out to be a pretty decent race, and it wasn't the disaster or wreck fest that I know myself and some others were expecting. I mean, certainly after watching testing and listening to the drivers talk about how it was going to be wild and insane, and we'd go into the weekend and practice. I mean, we're wrecking cars on the backstretch because they can't get through the backstretch chicane. So, yeah, I mean, thankfully for NASCAR, they had a lot of things go right that weekend. But again, in the long run, is that going to remain a race that people are going to keep tuned in for? You know, I mean, you said it right there. I mean, there's so many other places we could be going to. I'm sorry, but Charlotte, I mean, the Roval is not a real road course. It's just not. I mean, it's a Roval. I mean, it's just, you know, like you said, there's so many other places we could be going to. So I look at Charlotte, again, you take the good with the bad. And at least for this year, it was something we could change up. Yeah, now we have 2 Vegas weekends, but Vegas is a mile and a half. I mean, as you know, yeah, maybe it puts out good racing, but again, it's the same type of racetrack. I mean, yeah, we moved Richmond into the playoffs. Okay, I mean, we've done little things here and there, but it's still the same venues over and over and over again. So, again, you know, I'm just curious if maybe we can shake it up a little bit more. You know, can we pull out some of these tracks, some of these places that we go to for a second time, and can we add it with someplace new? You know, can we put more road courses? Can we put more half miles or you know, short tracks? You know, paperclip tracks. You know, things like that. So that's what I'm paying attention to.
Yeah, here's the dream on my end, and I spend the month of May in Indianapolis, or a good chunk of it, for the 500 and the Grand Prix and all things IndyCar, because I'm a massive IndyCar fan, and we've got a lot of IndyCar fans that tune into the show. But that being said, I've always thought, you know, it's funny because if you go to the coffee shops and the places like that around Indianapolis and the place around the Speedway, the Brickyard 400, people laugh. You know, and it's like, that's not IndyCar. And it's almost like, I hate to say it's almost like a joke, but people in Indianapolis, they don't flock to it. If you look at the stands at the Brickyard 400, it's, you know, granted, it's not the Indy 500, but it's a ghost town. I think that what people got most excited about this year was the USAC race that they built in Turn 3, you know, the dirt track. At least I'm talking about people around Indianapolis. So my thought was always like, all right, let's flip the script on this deal. They've got an amazing road course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Make the NASCARs race on that. That would get people in the seats, I guarantee you. You know, it's an ex-Formula One track. Like, why not? You know, let's flip the script. Now, would NASCAR ever do that? No, but this is my pipe dream, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I mean, Indianapolis, you know, look how far it's come in terms of, you know, accepting NASCAR, right? I mean, I remember when, you know, NASCAR would first start going there, and there was a lot of, you know, just unexpectedness. You know, are they going to want us? Are they going to keep us? How long are we going to be here? I mean, and now we're, 20 some odd years later, we're still there, right? And, you know, for the longest time, I think the NASCAR race was out drawing the Indy 500. I think it's probably backwards now. I mean, the NASCAR race, it just doesn't put on good racing there. And, you know, I had Robin Miller on my podcast back during Indianapolis weekend, and his suggestion for NASCAR was, you know, put the apron back in the track and make it a night race. I disagreed with him, but, you know, hey, I mean, there's got to be some ideas out there of how to make that racing better. I know, you know, obviously NASCAR's tried different rules packages and all this other stuff. I'm not smart enough to whether to say that putting them on the road course would be a good idea, but I mean, at this point, if we're changing things and throwing stuff out there, I mean, it probably couldn't be worse than what's already going on in Indy, right? I mean, on the oval track.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and speaking of IndyCar, we got to talk about this Alonso and Jimmy Johnson mashup, and I think we've seen them before. I think Montoya and Jeff Gordon have done one in the past, and like this isn't something new. But what came out of it were a couple things. I think with the way Alonso is approaching his career, I think we could legitimately see him race possibly the Daytona 500 in the coming years. And Jimmy Johnson went out there and said, hey, I'd really like to do some IndyCar road racing. What do you make I mean, this is most of the time this is a one and done. You know, they go and they swap cars for the media and they have fun and go, oh, that was amazing, and they go back to their day job. These two guys, and at these points in their careers, like they're both open to legitimately doing a swap.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, Juan Pablo and Jeff Gordon did a swap way back in the day. I mean, and Juan Pablo eventually came and did run NASCAR, so that's pretty cool. You know, with Jimmy, let me start with Jimmy. So Jimmy, I mean, look, he's not going to be in NASCAR forever, you know, and he's talented enough and he's ambitious enough, and I think he's curious enough that he does want to go and try something else, you know, maybe not on a full-time basis, but, you know, doesn't any good athlete want to go see how good they are somewhere else? You know, and I think for Jimmy, I mean, he thrives on performing and seeing how good he is and pushing himself. So going and running some IndyCar races, maybe going, you know, maybe doing a Formula One race. The thing is, though, I mean, he's always said, you know, he probably can't do those high fast ovals, you know, because there's no roof, there's nothing protecting the head. So I think it would have to be probably on a road course or something like that if he was going to climb into an Indy car or an F1 car. So I'm not surprised at all by his curiosity. I'm really, really not, because he's mentioned stuff like this before, and I think obviously now just getting behind the wheel is going to feed that even more. With Alonso, I mean, Alonso's in the part now of his career where he, you know, doesn't have, as far as I know, he doesn't have anything full-time for next year. He's going to run the Indy 500. I know people are trying to court him to run the Rolex 24, and of course NASCAR would love to have him come run the Daytona 500. So I think Alonso's sitting pretty because he can listen to all these offers and kind of figure out what he wants to do. And hey, if you've got nothing full-time, why not go out there and kind of go all over the place and you know, get some attention and again, see how good you are in other disciplines. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him pop up in other places. I don't personally see him doing NASCAR full time, but I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up in a few races. Maybe not next year. Don't quote me on that, but you know, maybe down the road for sure.
Yeah, well, and that could be the case. You know, he's just looking at something because I know he does have a contract to do some endurance racing in Europe, I think, next year with Toyota or something like that. But which leads to the question: hey, he's got a contract with Toyota, so you know, there's so many ways we can go with this. You know, but. Good stuff as always. I appreciate you taking the time to call in, Kelly. We're up against the break, but man, give us the lowdown. Obviously, Racing Writers Podcast. You continue to crank them out. You know, let us know who have you had on the past couple of weeks, and who can we expect coming up.
So, well, first off, let me just go back to Alonso real quick, because as we're talking, I get an email that he is going to run the Rolex 24. I'm not exactly sure what team it's going to be, but he is confirmed for the 24 alongside, let me open this up, alongside Jordan Taylor and a few others. So there you go. We've got the first of the Alonso 2019 schedule. The podcast, the Racing Riders podcast. So Elliott Sadler is coming up. I've got a 2-part with him, so it's going to be over the course of the next 2 weeks, reflecting on his career. Of course, he's retired now, so he's going to talk about his Cup stuff, running for the Wood Brothers, running for Robert Yates, the circus, as he puts it, that was the 19 car over at Gillette Evernham Motorsports. And then the second part, we talk about his Xfinity career, running for Dale Earnhardt Jr., the elusive championship that was just never in the cards for him. So those are 2 that's coming. I've also got Chris Buescher coming, Johnny Sauter, and a few others already, recorded, ready to go. But we've had Will Rogers was this week's episode. He's a really bright kid. For 23 years old, he is very well spoken, and I really enjoyed that interview. Danny Stockman's been on recently, which now was just announced he's going back Cup racing as a crew chief for Austin Dillon. And the podcast, I reposted the podcast because he had some really interesting things in there to say about getting RCR, getting their crap together, on the Cup side, being competitive again, and he wants to be part of that. So it's going to be interesting to see him over there, in that 3 team. But Christopher Bell has been a recent guest. Ryan McGee of ESPN was on to talk about the book that he co-wrote with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Haley Deegan, who's gotten so much attention this year, she's been on. Regan Smith, Kelly Earnhardt Miller, a lot. I'm 50-something episodes in. It's hard to believe. So we're cranking them out. It's a fun little thing to do. So it's still plenty more to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kelly, once again, and definitely chat soon.
All right, sounds good.
And we'll be back here to wrap things up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is
all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right. We're here to wrap things up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Thanks to all you guys for tuning in. This weekend, we have some Best in the Desert happening at Pahrump. Also, that's big stadium super trucks race going down there at Glen Helen. I got Rage of the River coming up, some snowcross. I will actually be heading to Minnesota for X Games Snow Bike Qualifier around the 15th of the month. I don't know if there'll be a live stream or not, but I'll be doing some announcing for that. So lots of stuff coming up. Winter is upon us. The silly season is here, and we will have all the coverage right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Thanks to Polaris, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Optimus, Moto Shield Pro, GoParts.com. Remember, it's go-parts.com/Jim Beaver, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Give me a follow. It's at Jim Beaver 15 on all forms of social media. JB Dirtfish, that's your coupon code for 15% off at Dirtfish Rally School. And make sure and head over to iTunes. Please head over to iTunes and subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. And make sure and leave a rating or review while you're there. For sure, a rating if you want to leave a review. If you leave your Twitter, Instagram, at username in the body of the review, I will see it and I will follow you back on social media. Same goes for my other show, Project Action. Subscribe, rate, and review to that as well. Check out that roundtable discussion I dropped with RJ Anderson, Mitch Guthrie, and Matt Martelli on Facebook, as well as our website, downanddirtyshow.com, and all the content we drop at downanddirtyshow.com each and every day. It is a daily updated, so missing out on all kinds of motorsports news if you're not hitting us up on the daily. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more amazing guests and all kinds of random talk on motorsports and just about anything right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Be safe. As always, game on.